What's happening? Marcus here. And I'm going to be talking about the topic that this video is about, which is stop miscommunicating to your guests. So we're going to be talking about websites, your digital presence, and super important. And this is an awesome speech that I do. I've done a speech several times, and I actually critique people's websites live right there. People call out their websites, we put them online, put them up on the screen, and we go for it and critique them. So I'm going to be talking a little bit about what I'm going to be talking about at that speech, and I also have this full speech. It's a 45-minute speech. It's on my YouTube channel. It's also in our restaurant Growth Secrets University. If you're a member of that, you'll see that in there. I see a lot of tons of websites. People always ask me, Marcus, look at my website, look at my website. I design websites or advise people on websites based upon Charlie Munger's 25 cognitive biases of buying, 25 psychological biases of buying. So what Charlie Munger came up with was there's 25 reasons why people buy, and they don't even realize why they're buying because the brain gets tricked very easily. And of course, the attention span of people is extremely, extremely short. 3 to 7 seconds, you have to be able to grab somebody in on your website, or else you're going to lose them. By the way, if you're watching this live, drop a comment, #live. I see a bunch of people on. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I'm going to bring about 10, 15 minutes. I'm going to drop some really cool knowledge on website design. You can also get my free book, 50 Mistakes That Business Owners Make. However, if you can drop that link for everybody in a comment, that'd be great. 50 mistakes. There he is, right there. Get your free book, 50 Mistakes That Business Owners Make. I talk a lot about this kind of stuff. The psychology marketing is something new that I've been doing over the last year and a half with massive results. Psychology marketing, I think, is the way to go when you approach things on how the brain thinks or doesn't think. Because the brain is very lazy. The brain is a very lazy organ. It does not like to do more work than it has to. And if you know certain tricks, you will get guests to buy more often, like you, and stay on your website as opposed to bouncing off. I mean, we all know that feeling. You get on a website and you're like, whoa, what's going on here? And you're like, I'd rather not even go any further and look for their menu or look for anything because this website's just it's terrible. A lot of restaurants will put pictures of empty dining rooms, empty bar stools. I'm like, that's a great bar stool, but are you a furniture store or are you a restaurant? And we're going to talk about that kind of stuff on this video right now. So let's start talking about why people buy. So like I said, Charlie Munger came up with the 25 cognitive biases. I've shortened them down to the top five reasons or things that you should have on your website based upon Munger's 25. So I've narrowed it down to 5. Now let's talk about the reasons why people go to a website first, okay? People go to a website, which is different now. People go to a website to get your phone number, to make a reservation, to look at your food, and to get your address. Those are the 4 reasons why people go to your website if you're a restaurant. So make sure those 4 things are very, very, very visible on every single page. Don't make somebody hit the contact button up top, to hit the contact button to get your phone number. No, your phone number needs to be on every page, right on the top or right on the bottom, very, very clear and visible. Your address, all that kind of stuff right there. Don't make the guest work. Don't make them work. And a lot of restaurant websites, they're making the guest work to find stuff. They're on your website. They want to give you business. Make it that much easier for them. So I'm trying to figure out the lighting here. There we go. So it's a frog in the pond there. So that's the pond, by the way. Little waterfall back there that goes up. So the backyard, all the flowers. So I have to figure out the lighting here. I'm doing more and more Facebook Lives here. I think I got to get a nice light up in front here shining on me. And again, everybody, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. If you're watching this live, drop a comment, #live. So on the replay, #replay. If you have a website, these tips will work for your website. You don't have to just be a restaurant owner or restaurant operator to benefit from this. You can be just have a website out there in general. Because the name of the game on a website is to get people there, which is SEO, search engine optimization. But once they're there, to keep them there and to make them want to stay there. So I've been over the last like 7, 8 years. I'll get companies to say, "Hey, Marcus, we want to give your website some analytics or look at it and make some suggestions how you can improve your views, your reach, all that kind of stuff." Every single company in the last 5 to 7 years that looks at my analytics, every single company goes, "We can't do anything for you, Marcus. Your website is optimized. You're getting amazing." I've had many of these agencies tell me that I'm getting 4 times the average amount of views than an average restaurant in the restaurant industry. 4 times. And that was before I really knew psychology marketing. We had implemented some great CEO and great content and kept people just engaged in the website and coming back. And the repeat visits are insane for a restaurant. I mean, I've impressed every agency that's ever tried to do something for me. So let's talk about the 5 things that you need on your website if you're a restaurant owner or any type of business. Because Charlie Munger's 25 cognitive biases of buying work across the board. It's just not for restaurants. I've adapted it to restaurants, and that's what my speech is. So if you're in LA, if you're in California, this upcoming Monday, like literally like 4 or 5 days from now, I will be at the convention center on Monday speaking in the afternoon at 4 o'clock, the LA Convention Center at the restaurant show. If you need tickets, I think I have a link that you can get you a discount or maybe even complimentary tickets to that. So drop me an email, drop me a DM on that, direct message me, and we can see that link. I've gotten lots of people tickets already, but I can get you tickets or at least a good discount. So the 5 things people buy. Now, the number one reason that people buy is for the reward bias. The reward bias is what's in it for the guest, right? What is in it for the guest? What is their benefit? A lot of people will be benefited from a discount, some kind of monetary discount. So if you're a restaurant, take free dessert on your birthday, or get this percentage off, or this dollar amount off on 2 entrees when you come in to eat. You let them sign up, get into your email, get them into your database, get their mailing address, get their birthday, and retarget like crazy. Hit the list, retarget. But that's the number one reason. Now, a lot of people aren't driven. There are people that aren't driven by financial incentives. People just want to know that, hey, you have a good, like for me and my wife, we want to know that you have good wine. If you have good wine, that's my reward. I want to come in and get a good glass of wine. I want to have a wine that I have not tried before and get, and discover something like that. Also for myself and my wife, it's about eating green. It's about eating healthy. It's about being environmentally conscious. So if a restaurant's certified green, if they do farm to table, if they have healthier food, that right there is a massive reward for me finding that place. Because if it wasn't, right, you can go to McDonald's, you can go anywhere, right? So for me, that's huge. I like more of a formal sit-down restaurant. When I go out, I just want to sit down. I just want to be taken care of. So that's a reward for me. Now, if they're going to give me a discount on top of it, boom, I got 2 rewards. So reward bias is the number one reason people buy. So make sure you have on your website, you can convey to them what's in it for them. And every time you do a Facebook post, every time you do an email, every time you communicate, always think what's in it for the guest. And that will kind of change your marketing right there, okay? So, and I love this this analogy. Like the dog food industry is $25 million in sales. $25 million in sales for dog food. The owner of the dog, who's the person who buys it, he doesn't eat the food. The dogs who eat it never have a say in buying it. It's all emotion based, right? So when that owner goes in there, it's, there's a major reward for that owner buying dog food. Is it free range? Is it grass fed? What is it? Is it price conscious? What's the reward for the actual dog owner, the pet food owner? $25 million industry, and the person buying it doesn't eat it, and the dog or cat that eats it has no say. That right there is major emotion-based marketing. So, all right, so that is that's element number one that needs to be on your website, okay? Element number 2 is the liking or loving tendency. We love to do business with products or companies or people that we admire, right? There's people that we admire. This is why, Air Jordans were so popular, because all these people admired Michael Jordan and they wanted his sneakers. There was an association with that. So people want to like you. And if they like you, they're going to do business with you. So if you're not on your website, they're not going to be able to connect and like you. That's just the bottom line. You have to be on your website. There has to be a picture of you your family, looking directly into them. Welcome. If you go to my website, it's my wife and I. We're standing there. Welcome to Aroma Time, right? We're the proprietors. People connect. People walk into the restaurant. They're like, we're on the website. I watched your video. Like, they already know me and they already like me. And I like what you said about that. I agree with you on wild salmon. So people make that connection and they like me and they come in and it's just that much stronger. Okay. So, you have to be likable. And if you're not being visible, you can be the most likable person ever. But if you're not on your website, they're not going to know that. So you've got to be on your website. No back shots, not over your back. And then you directly looking face to face in them eyes so they can see your eyes, looking at them through the computer screen, and welcome to your business. Okay. So now in person, we all know when we walk into a bar or a hostess stand right there, and within a tenth of a second, if you like that person on the other end, right? You know that already. So put yourself on there. People know, when the people are searching online, 3 to 7 seconds is all you have. Literally the attention span of a gnat. An Adderall is what you've got to get people's attention. Think of it as, how do I get the attention of a gnat on Adderall? Be likable, have a reward, and we're going to keep going down here because there's a lot of good stuff. Social proof tendency. That's the third element I talk about in my 5 key element speech. Social proof tendency. Social proof is a term coined by Robert Cialdini in his 1984 book, Influence. Amazing book, by the way. I recommend reading that or listening to it. So it describes a psychological or social phenomenon wherein people copy the actions of others. They actually copy the actions of others. Now, how I equate this, what I do in my speeches, I talk about an experience I had in 1997. My wife and I weren't married at the time. We were engaged, but we were in Rome. And the famous saying, when in Rome, do as the Romans. Well, part of the Roman tradition is you don't pay for the bus. You just get on the bus and or back then, I don't know if it's digital or now or electronic now. You have to scan. But back then, there was a guy or you put your money there and you walk and sit on the bus. So when in Rome, do as the Romans. Romans don't pay to go on the bus. They just don't do it. But my wife and I, or my girlfriend, Jamie and I at the time, were like, we're Americans. We don't want to get arrested. We're going to pay. We're totally going to pay getting on this bus. So we get in line. We get on the bus. Everybody walks by the person that doesn't pay, drop their money in. So social proof tendency came out like that. And I'm like, I want to do what everybody else does. And we just kept walking and sat on the bus and didn't pay. So we just copied the actions of others. So this is, and we had made a conscious decision not to do it, but just not knowing it, on a quick decision, our brain just made the decision, just stay in line, just keep following. Don't get pointed out. If you stop, you're going to get pointed out. People are going to look at you like, what are you doing? So this and that. So this is why, folks, that you have to proudly display your 5-star reviews on your website. Displaying your 5-star reviews on your website is huge because people want to have a 5-star experience as well. And if they're seeing that other people had a 5-star experience, they're going to copy their actions. And we're all guilty of this because when we all go on our phone and search, whether it's Yelp or TripAdvisor, whatever it is, if we're looking for barbecue food, right? If we're looking for barbecue food and we see 5 restaurants and the top 2 have 4 stars and 5 stars and the bottom 2 have 2 stars, 2 stars, and 3 stars, chances are you're going to pick the barbecue restaurant that is on the top tier, the 2 top, the 4 and the 5 star, because that's just that whole social proof thing that, hey, other people are having a great time here. Now, here's the cool thing. People will respond on reviews and testimonials of people they don't even know. They'll trust other people, right? So they'll totally trust other people that they don't even know. So on your website, make sure you have really good, shining reviews on your website to show what other people are doing or the good time people have had. And this works with numbers. Like, I had a phone call to a caterer, I guess early in the spring. Wow. And I said, how long have you been in business? He goes, 25 years. I said, that doesn't say it on your website. If I'm a bride, if we just got engaged, I'm going to want to do business with somebody who's been in business 25 years as opposed to somebody who just started 6 months ago. Someone who started 6 months ago might not even be in business next year when we're getting married, right? But somebody who's been there 25 years, they might not be in business either. But I'm like, 25 years shows longevity. It shows you're an authority. That's a solid number that you need. You need to be the premier caterer in the Hudson Valley for the last 25 years, since 1975 or whatever, 1985, whatever number it is. That right there holds major clout. Those are strong numbers. You go to my coaching website, you'll see that I have 80,000 subscribers on YouTube, 18 million views on my YouTube channel, that I'm a Forbes contributor, that I'm a 3-time book author. These are all solid numbers that people will be like, yeah, well, if 18 million people have watched his channel, why am I not watching his channel? So that's just the way the brain works, folks. And, and the reason why numbers work, because, or things that are tangible like that, 5 stars, 18 million views, 80,000 subscribers. The reason why that works is because numbers don't lie. People can lie, but numbers don't lie, right? So when you put something tangible there that they can relate to, oh yeah, I know what that means. I know what 5-star means, right? To say, oh, this is the best restaurant. What does the best restaurant really mean? Even though both may be 100% accurate, people relate to something that they can actually relate, like a number. And McDonald's says totally figure that out. When you drive by their sign at those arches, billions and billions served, right? Wow, if they're serving billions of people, why am I not the one? And that's been going on for years, by the way. I mean, I remember as a kid driving by those millions and millions of people served, right? So the next bias, number 4, is the authority bias. The authority bias. This is awesome. The authority bias is a tendency to attribute greater accuracy to the opinion of an authority figure, or just of somebody who's knowledgeable. I go do a lot of speeches. I talk a lot about real food. Food activism is one of my passions or my whys. So I'll talk about food activism, and then all of a sudden, the next thing I know, people are buying my business book. And the first time this happened, I didn't understand psychology marketing. But once I understood that psychology marketing, I was like, okay, this is cool. People will buy anything that I have, no matter what I talk about, and the two products can be unrelated. Because when they see me on a stage, or they see me in front of people, and they see me with a microphone, they see me with a camera on, they see me talking, I'm an authority all of a sudden. And people will buy from authority. So I was totally shocked. I'm doing this speech, 12 worst fish, 12 worst fish to eat, what to eat instead. And people are like, I want to buy your book. I'm like, I don't have a cookbook. They're like, no, your business book. I'm like, I just spoke for 45 minutes on fish, and you want to buy my business book? And I'm thinking to myself, I'm saying this to myself, and people are like, yeah, they lined up to buy my business book. And that's what it is, because I was created as an authority. So the reason why my wine trips are so successful, we do wine travel to Europe. My wife and I take 24 lucky guests. They pay money for this. And we take them to our favorite wineries in wine country in Spain and Italy. And the reason why they book with us is because we're the authority on the wines. We've been to the wineries. We know a lot about wine, and we actually serve the wines that we're going to at the wineries. So we are the authority on that. We're just not somebody that's just assembled, a money-making scheme to take people places to make money, and to places that we don't know or places we haven't been. So my wife and I are actually on our next trip in November. We leave a week early and we scout out southern Italy. We go to Puglia, Campania, and Basilicata. We fly into Bari, and that trip will launch a year from that date. But we will be there in the small villages, in the wineries, visiting the wineries that we buy from, just checking things out. So we're just another step in that direction of being the authority. We already know the wines. Now we're going to know the region, right? So people love that stuff. To see that you're an authority on something. So, again, everybody, thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate this. So let's get to the last bias here. And again, if you're watching live, drop a comment, #live. If it's on the replay, #replay. That water in the back is the waterfall running there. It's the backyard waterfall. The dog is right here. Come here, Barolo. Come here. You want to say hi? Come here. Where's Baxter? Oh, Baxter's there. Baxter, guys, come here. Come say hi on camera. We're gonna go for a run in a couple minutes. There's Baxter. Barolo's right here with me. You guys want to go run right now? You want to go run real quick? Run around. Go run. Go run. Go run. They love to run. So as soon as I get their leashes, they go crazy. But they'll just run around. There he goes. They just run around the loop here, around the waterfall. So you might be able to see them in the back there. Yeah, there he goes, just running around. You saw him up and through up and through there. There's Baxter back. Baxter's 12 years old, 13 years old, 12, 13 years old. He's run many miles with me in the woods, in the forest, on single paths and carriage paths. He's done up to 20 miles with me on a couple occasions. Barolo, the little one, is 5 years old. He's been getting out on the trails a lot now. I'm going to take both of them for a run here right after this live. So the fifth, you ready for the fifth one? The fifth bias. These are all Charlie Munger's cognitive bias. This is psychology-based marketing, folks. This is marketing that tricks the brain. Or not really tricks the brain, just takes advantage of the brain's laziness. The brain is lazy, and the brain will make split decisions like that without thinking everything through, because it sees indicators that say, oh yeah, that's a reason to buy, that's a reason to act, let's do it. So the last one is the influence from mere association, right? So when you surround yourself with celebrities, with other authorities, with social influencers, you have this influence from mere association. So people will buy from you. Like if you're like, for example, like people go to Mickey Mantle's restaurant. Mickey Mantle's obviously not alive, but people go there because it's Mickey Mantle's. People go to Papa John's because John Elway is part of that franchise, or he owns a lot of franchises in Colorado. Anthony's Coal-Fired Pizza has partnered with Dan Marino. Dan Marino is one of the investors in Anthony's Coal-Fired Pizza. So you'll see pictures of Dan Marino when you walk in. It's like, yeah, Dan's part of this restaurant. That's cool. I like Dan. I'm going to eat here, and I'm going to come back. And believe me, Anthony from Anthony's Coal-Fired Pizza knows that. And when you go on the website, you see Dan Marino there. So that's the influence. So you'll see a lot of times when you go into a restaurant, you'll see people with the owners, like with movie stars and famous people that have come in, politicians, and you can see like lineup of pictures. And that's really, really cool. And a lot of times as a chef, people ask me, well, who have you cooked for that's famous, Marcus? And as soon as I start dropping some of the names, they're like, oh my gosh, you cooked for him, or her, that, how was that cooking? You know, people get fascinated with that. I cooked for a lot of these famous people back in the mid-90s. And people come into the restaurant that are famous. I typically don't bother them. But you know, I've cooked for some pretty influential people. Met Jerry Jones right after they won the Super Bowl. He walked into the kitchen, handed me a Super Bowl ring. I was like, whoa, that's a Super Bowl ring, and these things are huge. You know, Johnny Cochran, I've cooked for. Had a conversation with. Aerosmith came into the restaurant one time. Cooked for Margaret Thatcher. Like Margaret Thatcher was like right in front of me. Made her an omelet. So she walked to the station. She was at a board meeting when I was working for the Greenbrier. I got lucky and got to do the board meeting. So some very influential people in there. My wife used to work at the Greenbrier on the golf course. So people say, hey, Sam Snead. My wife's like, yeah, I've met Sam Snead many times. He'd go out and play 2-3 holes. I worked the beverage cart there. And people are just amazed when you're associated with those kind of people. So take advantage if you know any celebrities, any movie stars. We're working with one of our clients right now who out in Iowa, and he's teamed up with the #1 country music DJ who's very, very well known. And I said, you've got to get him to come into your restaurant and do a Facebook Live. And it's exactly what he did. Now there's that association with this famous or the most well-known country music DJ in that area in the state and that restaurant. So he totally took advantage of that. Sorry, folks, I'm going to be Monday. With me this Monday. Jamie, if you're still listening, what's the date on Monday? Is it the 27th? I think it's the 27th, 26th. Whatever this Monday is, I'm going to be in LA speaking at the convention center. If you need tickets, direct message me. I might be able to get you a free ticket still. If not, we can get you discounted tickets. And that's the LA Convention Center. It's the Western Food Expo. And I'll be talking about the 5 cognitive biases that you need on your website. Those are the biases that I just went over. Things like the reward bias, the social proof bias, the liking, loving tendency. I'm going to talk about those 5 for 45 minutes. And then if you're in the crowd, I will pull up your website and we'll critique it and go over it right then and there. This is a very powerful speech. I've seen Ty Lopez do a very similar speech to that. Jamie's saying the 28th, August 28th, Los Angeles at the convention center. I'll be speaking 4 o'clock. It's Monday. And come and say hello to me. I love meeting other restaurant owners and networking and just knowing who's out there. So the 28th of August, LA Food Expo, Western Food Expo, biggest food expo on the West Coast for all restaurateurs, people in the food industry. All right, everybody, that's it. I'm going to head out for a run. Oh, 26th. Jamie's saying the 26th. The 26th, August 26th. 28th, we'll be in wine country in Santa Barbara. If you're up there, we'll say hello, too. We'll be at Fest Park. We'll be at Foxton and a couple other vineyards that we buy from that we've had relationships with for years. So Monday, August 26th, LA. Come check out my speech. And that's it, folks. Thanks for tuning in. Had a lot of people on here. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. And Facebook Live. Talk to you later.